Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. My name is Marina from Marina Art Design, and in this video I'm going to show you a tutorial on how to use mystery pixel puzzles generator. They are also called pencil pixel puzzles or mystery pixel puzzles, so variations of those words are inside the name. I also uploaded some of the images I created for Easter into my Creative Fabrica store. So if you have Creative Fabrica subscription, you can go here and check it out. You can download and see how the images look like. But what is a mystery pixel puzzle? Mystery pixel puzzle is an image where you have main grid that is completely empty, and the main grid has rows that are labeled with numbers and columns that are labeled with letters. And then around it you have mini clues. And what you need to do is you need to transfer these mini clues into the main grid exactly as they are shown here by using the coordinates on the top. So you have letter and number, so D7. And now you just need to replicate that mini clue exactly as it is shown. Okay, so you see this here. So this is what you have. And once you complete everything, it's going to reveal to you the mystery image. So that is the logic behind mystery puzzle. Now, when it comes to images that are used to create such puzzle, if you're going to import images, you can also get them from Creative Fabrica. They need to be bold, they need to be easy, they need to have crisp, clear, black lines. So it's best that they are black and white images. The better the image is, the clearer the image is, the better it's going to look like inside mystery puzzle generator. These are the Easter ones. As you can see, we have Easter egg. And you have also option, of course, if you cannot source any images, you also have options that you can draw images yourself inside the puzzle generator. I'm going to show you that as well. For example, this is a puzzle image. And once you trace everything, this is how it looks like. And this is drawn by me, by hand. This is mandala design, and this is how the puzzle looks like. This is an Easter egg, how it looks like once it is solved, and this is how the puzzle looks like. If you, for example, want to create 20 images that are the same, so once they are solved, they're all going to look like this, and that will be in case, for example, you have 20 students, and you want everybody to solve the same puzzle, but you want all of them to have different puzzle. The way to do this is to generate images using a single image, because each time you generate a puzzle using, for example, Easter egg, all these mini clues, they're going to be shuffled. So it's going to end up with the same image, but the puzzle on its own is going to look different. So you have that option. And you also have option to bulk export different images, but for this to work, you need to prepare the images first. So that is just a slight note that for bulk creation, you need to have images already ready. And yes, it's going to take you some time, but once you have the pool of the images ready, you can always create new puzzles, fresh puzzles, that are going to have this section of mini clues shuffled. So this is the puzzle interface. Here in the upper left section, you have option to select the single image. Now this is going to be image you already prepared, and this is going to be bulk folder, including the multiple images you already prepared for this program. So that means we need first we need to go here and adjust our puzzle grid and actually draw our images. Either draw them or import them and then save them individually. And when I say saving the image, I'm not talking about saving the puzzle. I'm talking about saving the image that is going to be used to generate the puzzle. So if you save an image, for example, of an Easter egg, you can always reuse that same image and create multiple new puzzles with that same image. So in this section here, you control how many rows and columns you're going to have for the main grid. So that would be this here. So this is the main grid, and this is how many columns and rows you can have, and it is between 3 by 3 and 10 by 10. So that is the amount of main grid size that you can have. And then here you have a control for subgrid size. Now, what is a subgrid size? Subgrid size is the size of this smaller mini clue size. So in this case is 5 by 5, and you can change it from 2 by 2 to 6 by 6. 2 by 2 is something that you would use for kids, while 6 by 6 is something that you would use for adults, for images that are going to be sold by adults. So that is the difference. So let's activate source image editor. Okay. So this is the source image editor, and here you have option to draw, you have option to erase, you have option that when you are drawing that whatever you are drawing is mirrored, and is mirrored top to bottom or left to right or mirrored in corner. The way I use the corner is to create mandala images. Let me just show you. So if I activate corner, whatever I draw here, you need to go slow with your mouse. Whatever I draw here, you see it's replicating in all 3 other corners. This is how I created that mandala image. And that is how you just continue to draw around and you get your image. And let's clear everything. Let me show you how top to bottom look like. So in top to bottom, you see it is replicating what is on top to the bottom. So that is mirroring what I draw here. It is mirroring in this section here, and last one is left to right. So whatever I draw here, it is automatically mirrored on the right side. That is how you use. And of course, if you select none, that's clear. And if you select none, that means that you can just freehand draw inside the grid. But usually what people will do is import an image. So let's import an image. Let's this one. Let's import. This is image of an elephant, and the threshold at this value is optimal. But let me just show you what happens if you decrease the threshold. This is actually controlling how much of the black from the main image is going to be converted into the puzzle image. So if I click import, you will see I lose some of the details. If I go all the way up, you will see I gain lots of details. So somewhere around here, it's going to be perfect. And now what you need to do is, if it's necessary, fix it a little bit. Look where it has to be fixed, or maybe you want to add something, like you can add grass here, you can add sun here or clouds. So you can add something in image, so to reduce the empty cells if you want that, but you can keep them, it's not an issue. And once you are finished, once you are happy with this image, click on here, save, and you actually save this image as JSON file. And now once you have this saved, you can load it up. So you can click on load it up, and once you load it up, click on use this image. So that is how you create, save, and load your image. Now I'm going to click use this image, and now that image is fixed. And now I need to switch to layout editor. In layout editor, here is what is giving me where the image is going to be and where the mini clues are going to be. So let's try it bottom right. And let's change the size. The yellow ones are empty ones, so empty sections that are not going to be used. So that means I need to reduce the amount of rows, but I cannot reduce them beyond. Let me just show you. You see, if I reduce it too much, see here you have a warning, that there is not enough clue slots in this layout. So I need to increase it just by 1. And now what's going to happen here is that this is where we're going to have the main grid, and this is where we're going to have mini clues. And you can change this up. You see, you can change the position. And then once you are happy with the position, then adjust the slot rows and slot columns. And another thing that you can do here, if you already know that you have 8 by 8 or 10 by 10 or whatever is the ratio of the main grid, so you have that saved, you can also save this layout. For example, if I want to use for all my square images, if I want to use this layout, then I can save this layout and just load it up. And for every puzzle that it generates, it's going to use this layout. So click on use this layout. Here you can control the fonts. And when it comes to fonts, all the fonts that you have installed on your computer are here. So these are not the fonts that you install in the program. This is actually fonts that is being pulled from your computer. So everything that you have installed on your computer is going to be here. So this is the main grid label font, and this font is a little bit larger. So that is this one. It's a little bit larger, a little bit bolder. And the second font is the font for the mini clues. Here is where you control the colors and thickness of the grid, but I believe you can leave that the way it is as default settings. So the black lines that are surrounding the mini clues or subgrids, they are 1 pixel width and they are black, while the mini grids are gray, so light or dark gray, and they are half the thickness of the main lines. Because we still need to keep this, we need to have a grid that is visible but not too visible. So once person solves the image, that image looks nice. So that's the goal that we are going with here. And you see here this section here is white. If you do not want that, if you want to have that transparent, you just click on this one and it's going to be transparent. So once you have everything ready, because I just activated one single image, so one single image, if I want to create one single puzzle, I'm just going to click here on number of puzzles 1, and I'm going to click on generate. If I select from the drop menu here 10, for example, it's going to create 10 different puzzles using the same image, meaning the clues are going to be shuffled. And if I was, so once I saved, so now I saved an elephant. Now I can go back here and I can draw something else and save this, and then draw something else and save it, draw something else and save it. So once I save all these images inside the folder where the puzzle generator is, I can go here, I can select that folder, select the layout, and then click on generate puzzles, and then it's going to generate all these puzzles in a bulk. And this is useful, for example, if you're going to sell them on Fiverr to your customers. So each customer is going to get unique puzzle. There's no chance that 2 images of the 2 puzzles are going to be identical. So each generation is going to be truly unique. And what else? I'll just show you. So this is for adults. This is maybe for teens or kids. This is for adults. Let me show you how a simple looks like. So first I'm going to adjust the main grid size to be smaller, so that's 5 by 5, and the lowest subgrid size is 2 by 2. So this is how it looks like. Obviously this is a small grid, so you need to have clear, simple images. I'm just going to show you what I'm using. Where is a pixel, and this one. So you see these are simple images. Let me find one that is nice looking. Where is helicopter? Okay. Helicopter, import. Let me just increase a little bit more. Okay, too much. Okay. And maybe we can now erase these sections here. And yeah, and that is a helicopter. So this is a very simple image. Like I said, this is for kids. This is something that kids would solve. And yeah, I can save this now. I can use this image and I can generate puzzle using this layout here. Obviously, once I click use this image, I need to change my layout because it is a smaller grid. So the layout is going to be different. We can put it in the middle. I usually prefer in the bottom. So in the bottom right, or bottom or top left, depending is the person who is drawing left-handed or right-handed. You also need to consider that when you are creating these puzzles, that some people are going to be left-handed and right-handed. So you need to give option for both. So that means using the top left corner or bottom right corner. So when they're drawing, they can see the close, or when they're drawing with left hand, so they can draw here and see the close. Okay, I believe I explained everything. Oh, this is Marina from editing. When I was editing the video on the recording, I just realized that I forgot something, and that is this. You can also create mazes. So not technically create mazes, but what you can do is you can use your maze images, import them here. So it's double puzzle. So first they need to transfer all the mini clues, and then once they transfer all the mini clues, they have to solve the maze. So that is just also another like interesting activity that you can do with this one. I just want to point that out. So that's it for this video. If you have any questions, ask me down below. You can also send me messages in my Facebook group, or you can contact me by email if you want, and you have that on my Gumroad account. Okay, that's it. Until the next video, I shall see you down below in the comments. Stay safe, everybody. Bye.